Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the Tazewell County Board to order. If you could find your seats. John, if you could call the roll, please.
Atkins. Here. Crawford. Here. Deppert. Mark Goddard. Here. Sam Goddard. Here. Graff.
Here.
Eidman. Hall. Here. Harris.
Here.
Josting. Here. Grable. Here. Longfellow.
Here.
Mennel.
Here.
Mingus.
Here.
Nelms.
Here.
Paget.
Here.
Trail.
Here.
Rich Stimson.
Here.
Schneider.
Here.
Sen.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Chairman Zimmerman.
Here.
You have a quorum.
We have a quorum. We'll do business. If we could rise for the invocation and pledge, please. Before we start tonight, I don't know if we had a former board member who passed away this week, Paul Grethy. He was a great guy. He had a lot of color and fun to the board, and he will be greatly missed. I also want to thank all of the veterans in this room. We celebrated Veterans Day last Saturday, and just thank you for your service. And so thank you. So let's come before the Lord. Heavenly Father, you're such a gracious and loving God. You've blessed us beyond what we deserve. And as the Thanksgiving week approaches, we just thank you for all the blessings that you've given us, including living in this free country and living in Tazewell County and having a free government. I pray that as we deliberate these issues tonight, that we can make decisions that honor you, that honor our citizens in Tazewell County, that we can be deliberative, and even in those issues where we may disagree, we can leave here in a spirit of civility. We just thank you for our employees. What a great asset they are to our county. And thank you for all the citizens and those who showed up tonight. We appreciate their passion and their involvement in our county. We thank you for the harvest that is just wrapping up. It's just one more sign of your faithfulness to us. We lift up the situation in the Middle East, Father. We just need your wisdom, and I pray for peace in that entire area. We know that even in the midst of all this chaos, that you're a sovereign God, and we take hope in that. We love you, and we pray all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to start out with communications from members of the public and county employees. We have maybe about 8 of them tonight. Our first speaker will be David Froelich. So David, if you could come forward and just state your name and where you're from. Yes. 3 to 5 minutes is our time. Okay.
I think I've got hi, David Froelich, 320 Central Park West.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
So thank you very much, and really like to thank the whole board for giving us an opportunity to speak. I'm David Froelich. I'm from CDE North America. We are a solar developer, and we're very excited about the opportunity to bring a community solar program here to Tazewell County. The project that we're here to discuss on Mr. Lindquister's land in Shook Road in Washington Township will be a 5 megawatt AC community solar farm. Some immediate benefits to the community from the project would be increased property tax, as well as an opportunity for households and town facilities to get a discount on electric bills. Among the steps we've taken to this point, we're very confident that we've met the standards of the Tazewell County Solar Ordinance. We have reached out to neighbors to discuss our plans and to try to address some of their concerns. We have designed the solar system to be as far away as possible from the only residents abutting the parcel. We're about 1,000 to 1,100 feet north of that neighbor's property line, as far in excess of the 150-foot requirement. We will add a vegetative buffer between the parcel to our south and the parcel to our north. We will have setbacks of at least 50 feet from the property line and 30 feet from non-jurisdictional wetlands. In addition, our inverters and transformers will be sited at least 400 feet from the closest possible point of the parcel to our north, but at least 800 feet to almost everything to the north and more than 1,400 feet to the south. So there will be no noise from the system. The solar will occupy about half of the parcel, leaving the remaining land available to be farmed. And if it's okay, Mr. Lancaster had written a note that I would like to read, if that's okay. So he said, as a landowner, I just wanted to add my perspective. Farming provides a vital resource for our country, since we grow grains that provide food for America and the world, and also provide jobs locally. Generally, farm investments are a challenge for owners, since the return on farming is usually only a few %, which is usually not enough to cover the mortgage on a farm. I have owned farms for about 15 years, and for each farm I have acquired, I have had to take money out of pocket to supplement the income from harvest sales in order to make ends meet. In recent years, the possibility of adding additional income from allowing a portion of the farm to be used for solar arrays and wind turbines has been a great way to supplement income from traditional farming alone. By signing up for a solar farm lease, I can more easily sustain our farming operations into the future and keep providing food, jobs, and tax payments for local infrastructure, schools, etc., while at the same time support the delivery of renewable energy sources to reduce carbon emissions in our country. Therefore, I am strongly in favor of allowing solar farm projects to proceed. Thank you. And that's it.
All right.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, next, Robin Miller.
Greetings. I'm sure all of you on the board have gotten one or more of my emails recently. I would like to just say a few words regarding the proposed Wolf Carbon Solutions pipeline. There are a number of people who have posted on the Illinois Commerce Commission website that suggests that this proposed pipeline will help agriculture and the ethanol industry. Put simply, no, it won't. The Princeton University Net Zero America final report, page 192, states that corn ethanol will be phased out by the year 2050. That's zero corn purchases. Zero. Whether there's a pipeline, a CO2 landfill, or not. So the rest of the claims about the pipeline supporting agriculture are bunkum. The clock is ticking, and the ethanol industry's epitaph has already apparently been written. I do not doubt the ability of union labor to safely build a pipeline. However, safe construction is not the issue. After the last union worker has left the job site, the pipeline will be operated by whom? Union labor isn't certifying the pipeline operators or CO2 supplying customers won't have an oops event and allow water, ordinary water, into the line, creating carbonic acid, a corrosive with a special taste for carbon steel pipes. Union labor isn't verifying other impurities won't be present either, gnawing away the pipe from the inside, as foreign owners of this pipeline seek to grab more 45Q tax dollars from other industries with less pure CO2 waste streams from their exhaust pipe. Union labor isn't representing there will be no landslides, earthquakes, or other catastrophes causing a future failure like that in Satarsha, Mississippi. Just for the record, the last time the New Madrid fault let go, church bells rung in Philadelphia, and the Mississippi River ran backward for a time. Union labor makes no guarantee that old oil and gas wells drilled throughout the Illinois basin will not act as conduits for CO2 back into the environment from the landfill, negating any environmental benefit from this psychopathic scheme and poisoning persons, livestock, and wildlife far removed from any current notification requirement. Surprise? So, the Wolf Pipeline proposal, in conclusion, is unnecessary, reckless, and divisive. It is a flawed, rickety structure with a foundation of lies. Wolf Carbon Solutions and the people of the state of Illinois deserve no less than an emphatic no on the Wolf proposal from this board and the Illinois Commerce Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Seth,
Good evening. My name is Seth Upoff, and I'm here with the team from Soul Systems, which is presenting a decommissioning plan for consideration tonight. And I wanted to just point out, number one, that we've got members from the company here tonight. We've got Ms. Christina Pietzka and Mr. Marty Helfers, along with the landowners for this project, who are all here this evening, those being Norma and Keith Stuckey, and then Marshall Mooberry and Jeff Barton. They're all here in support of this project and have been supportive of the project all the way through. This project is nearing some of the last hurdles it needs to get finalized. Well, one of those is the decommissioning plan. And at the most recent executive committee meeting, that plan came up and there was discussion and an amendment that was made. But after the amendment was made and passed, Ms. Workman, on behalf of the county, was doing some further consideration on it and very diligently went through it and determined that in order to meet the intent of what we were trying to accomplish, we probably needed to frame it a little differently. So working with Ms. Workman, we have come up with a newly amended language to go in that we believe will effectuate what was intended to be accomplished in the executive committee meeting. Ms. Workman has reviewed it, I believe, with legal counsel, and I believe she's accepting of it, and I can tell you that Soul Systems is very happy to work with Tazewell County and has looked over the language that was suggested, and we agree with it as well. So we're happy to answer any additional questions that may come up during discussion if it's discussed on the floor, to the extent that that's allowed. Otherwise, on behalf of the landowners and Soul Systems, we'd like to thank Ms. Workman for her diligent work on this, and then we would ask that you strongly consider and approve the amended language for the decommissioning plan. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Brent Hyder.
Hello, Brent Hyder. I'm a resident of Washington, Illinois. I handed out a packet to each of the board members for reference. I'm here for on behalf of the neighborhood of Liberty Lane, and we are voting against the Dream Center of Peoria with the special use and zoning. And we're asking the board to either postpone that vote or to vote no for today. In Exhibit 1, we've got 50 signatures that have petitioned against having this special use in our neighborhood. You will hear some people for this, but that is from the city limits in Washington, not in our community, in our neighborhood. So I think that's worth noting. There are several concerns that we have as a community about this rezoning in regards to safety concerns, effects on our property values, and the impact quality of life. A couple of the concerns since this started on November 1st when I went to the ZBA board, we do have concerns about safety. Before the ZBA board meeting, unfortunately, Dream Center put out a communication that they were coming to Washington, which spurred the media to come to that hearing. And during that hearing, it was stated that this location would be kept secret, and obviously that is not secret anymore. So the location of the Dream Center is public, of where they're going to have that residence, and we're concerned of the people that could be coming in and out of that community, which is our neighborhood. The next piece of concern is this process was rushed.
So our neighborhood was made aware of this special use proposal on October 19th, and the first hearing was on November 1st. So we had very limited time to understand what Dream Center was wanting to do and to build our argument of why we didn't want it in our community. So we didn't fully come prepared for that first meeting. We did have three speakers and several that came in attendance with our petition of 50 signatures, but the ZBA did not give that any weight apparently. This process was expedited. I mean, less than 2 weeks for our community to absorb it and make a decision. It is just not right, I don't think. Even when the second meeting happened for the land use committee, they were confused of why the special use was voted on before it got to them. So it seems like the process was very expedited and didn't follow normal procedures. The next one here is we feel that the ZBA vote was premature. It is based on fact, and all the facts weren't quite on the table at that point. One, because we weren't fully prepared for that meeting. But Dream Center did state that we do not have it all figured out. And if you don't have things all figured out, then how can you ensure safety for our community? So to me, that's a deal breaker. We need to postpone this and get the details and make sure everybody's comfortable with the safety concerns that our community has. We are outside of city limits, so Washington Police Department, ambulance, fire, they're not going to respond to us, so it's going to be the county, and we don't know the response time. Those are types of things that we need to have addressed. Since that first hearing, we've learned more about Dream Center and their pursuit in Peoria County to get properties, and they've been turned down there or at least backed off. They had told us that it was because of financial reasons, but they submitted in Exhibit 2 a letter to the committee, and they withdrew their application, and they stated that it was strong opposition from the neighborhoods, and they apologized to the neighbors. Well, we've got 50 signatures. I think that should be enough that we've got strong opposition as well. The last thing, I mean, I'd recommend first a no vote, but if you're not compelled to do that, I think we at least postpone this and answer some of the questions that the neighborhood has, whether it's a neighborhood forum or town hall meeting, but something more needs to be done before this is voted yes on. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Denise Bailey.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to come tonight. I'm Denise Bailey. I live in Washington on South Cummings Lane, and I am an employee of Dream Center Peoria. So I come to represent our application for rezoning, which I believe is being addressed tonight. And we do appreciate the passion of the neighbors and want to state that. We understand that they have concerns, and out of empathy for that, we have tried to address those. And I would like to offer a response to just a few of the points that were made. We did not ever contact the media, just so that's clear. We have responded to media requests, but most of them we have declined. And I believe that the media is able to read the open agenda and able to attend meetings because they are public. So that is point number one. Point number two is that the process was not rushed at any point. We followed all of the guidelines. We submitted our applications. The publications went out by the deadlines. We posted the sign on the door of the property before the deadline. Everything was run according to all of the legal statutes, and so we followed that closely. We did not ask for special consideration at any time. We did have questions just because we're not experts in this matter, and so we would call the County Community Development Office and ask them questions as needed. Third, and the other point on that, I understand that the neighbors said that they felt like they didn't have time to organize, but they did have time to go door to door with a petition and talk to neighbors, and so they were talking that entire time with each other, and we're sorry that they felt like they didn't have time, but there was time being spent on this, just maybe not in the ways that they had wished that they had done that. Also, the ZBA vote, we don't think was premature. The reason we don't have the entire program figured out is because we didn't have the property secured. It's contingent on the rezoning process. So we want to be careful that we don't have all of that laid out prematurely on our part, but what we do have are guidelines and requirements for all of the residents to sign. We have documentation of tentative schedules. We have job descriptions. We have many pages of documentation. We have researched multiple other residential programs across the nation. We've looked at best practices. We've asked what works, what doesn't, and we are very mindful of security, so we understand that issue. And we want the neighborhood to be secure. We want our residents to be secure, and we would do everything within our power. And you guys have all received our information. I know that you've received minutes from the other meetings, so that's all laid out there. And also to set the record straight, we were never turned down in Peoria in the rezoning process. We did submit one application, and it did have neighborhood opposition. We understood that, we addressed that, we talked with the neighbors, we were very transparent in that process. But our reason for pulling our application was because when the fire inspector and the building inspector went through to look at life safety codes, some of the things that were going to be required were potentially over $100,000. We were already at the top of our budget, and we didn't feel like that was wise stewardship, and it would require us to go back to our donors and ask for further funding that we didn't think was wise. So that is all public record. We did apologize to the neighbors because we knew some of them, and we care about relationships, and we are not trying to cause division. Our goal is for unity, and what I believe about Washington, it's my community. I mean, I have personal stake in this. I believe that it is a community that embraces people who have needs, who require support and resources, and I believe that we can come together once this is all decided, however it is decided, and as you mentioned earlier, be civil, have respect, and care for each other beyond that. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Christy Schofield? Schofield? Okay. And then finally, Andy King?
Thank you so much for the time. Thank you, everyone. My name is Andy King. I'm the Executive Director at Dream Centre. And for the last 20 years, we have been trying to bring dignity, compassion, and purpose to not only whoever walks through our doors, but really throughout Central Illinois in so many different ways. We've always said that if a need arises within a community, that we want to step into that. And in Central Illinois, there is no home like what we are trying to create. This is a home for young moms who this is their first time being moms. And so as we saw this need, there's many places you could put something like this. We also know that the gals that we will be seeing need to see and experience a loving community. That is the way a lot of things are broken in people's lives. The right network around them, the right community around them. So when we have tried to go to a few areas now, this is actually the second one that we have looked at seriously, and Denise mentioned about the Peoria location that would have blown our budget way out of the window. When we looked at different areas, the biggest thing we want is a community where these gals could also be loved on, not just by Dream Centre staff, not just by the community, the people that are around us like volunteers, but also the community. There's a reason why we want to try and get an area where community is done. 30 years ago, I moved to America and lived in Washington for nearly 10 years. And I love that community. It's an amazing community. I've got a lot of friends there. And so when this property came up, that was one of the things that was driving us, was this could be a place where these girls could experience community, which would then help them break some of these chains and be able to really excel in life. And so that's all I really wanted to share, and why we're going for this property. Denise has addressed a lot of the things that have come up. Everything from media. I've got a list of emails I can send you telling them I'm not talking to anyone until after this meeting, because I don't want to go through all that and then it not go through. Obviously being a little bit more focal in Peoria, word travels, people try and get a hold of what we're trying to do, what's the new thing, and we've really worked hard to try and keep that down. We've even told people to take posts down because of addresses and things like that. So please hear our heart. Our heart is to carry on impacting people's lives, and this area we see in central Illinois. This isn't a Peoria issue, this isn't an inner city issue, this is a central Illinois issue where we can come alongside some of these ladies, some of these girls, and show them a bit of hope and a light at the end of the tunnel. So thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, any communications from elected or appointed county officials? All right, seeing none, then I need a motion to approve the minutes from October 2nd, October 25th, final, and October 25th regular board meeting. Motion by Nelm, second by Mangus. Any corrections, deletions? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Those opposed? Minutes pass. Brings us down to our consent agenda. Item 19, I believe, is going to be pulled. 27 and 36. Any other items? 19, yeah, I already said 19. Oh, that's right. 47 is being pulled. Mike Harris?
LU 23 is 10 and 24 is 11, and then the last two on the last page, it's LU 23, 21, and 22.
What were the first ones, Mike?
Say that again, Mike.
Item 10 and 11,
Item 10 and 11, and
and on the
then
last page, next to the last page, the bottom two, there's no numbers, it's G and H, LU 23, 21, and 22.
those are automatically pulled. Those won't be a part of the consent agenda. Tim? 12 and 13?
20 and 13.
12.
12 and 13.
Mr. Chairman, you already said 47.
Yeah, I'll go over them again. Okay.
Oh, where is it? Yeah, I will.
Which one?
44.
Okay, so 13 is not being pulled?
13, please.
13, okay. All right, Russ?
44.
44? 17. Well, shoot, so much for this consent agenda business. Russ?
I would make a motion to approve the two that are left.
One second, no. Let me go through it first, okay?
Yeah, good
So,
idea.
we are pulling 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, 19, 27, 36, 44, and 47. Any others? Okay, we have a motion to accept the remainder by Crawford. Can I get a second by Deppert? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so noted.
That might be the first objection to the consent agenda.
All right, can I get a motion for the appointments 50 through 55? Motion by Atkins, second by Crawford. Any questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't usually comment on appointments, but I just want to mention that I've been watching the ZBA since 1978, and this very well could be one of the best ZBAs we've ever had. They do a great job, they're not biased, they don't base it on what their own personal experience is. They try to always put the comprehensive plan and the zoning code, at the top of their decision making. Their own personal biases, are not included, and I'm very, very impressed with all of them. Thank you.
All right. All those in favor of these signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The appointments pass. All right, back to item 10, LU 2323. Can I get a motion to get this on the floor? Motion by Kriegel, second. Second by Rich Stimson. I'm not sure who pulled this.
I pulled it.
Yeah, Mike. go
I'm
ahead.
not in favor of the solar farms. There's 5 of them on the agenda. You know, there's reasons that they take up farmland, they're not efficient. It just, I don't agree with it, so I'm voting against it.
Any other comments or questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? You raise your hands. We're gonna do a roll call, and I just want to remind board members, we may have to go into executive session because there are consequences when our decisions go against state statute. So, I need a motion to go into executive session. Sorry, everyone. Motion by Rich Stimson, second by Patchett to go into executive session. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Yeah, Bill?
We need to have a statement, sorry. We need to have a statement of exactly why we're going into executive session.
And point of order, Mr. Chairman, this is a good
I'm
time.
addressing,
Oh, okay, you done?
He wants a statement.
citing pending litigation. I don't have my sheet here citing the specific state.
I don't think we have to have the statutory citation if the pending litigation is
Pending litigation, yes. Probable litigation.
probable and imminent. Is that the one you're thinking of?
Yes. Russ?
That being the case, I'll withdraw my point of order.
Okay, all those in favor of going into executive session, signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Sorry, everyone, we won't be out long, but, I need to ask everyone to leave the room.